What's up, everybody? It is I, Tevin El Chapo. Friends call me Chop, and we are back with another episode of Chop Logic. Yes, where we get to the Chop Logic things and things of that nature. Hosted by yours truly, Tevin El Chapo. Thank you so much for coming back to yet another episode. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening to this audio only, please be sure subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get the full experience as well. Also, don't forget to like this video. Yeah, like the video. Like it up. Like all the videos. Comment below your favorite moment of each episode, because we here to give game and get to the logic of things my very own Chop way, right? So today's episode, we got to talk clientele. Not the first time we talk clientele, but this is going to be a little bit different. We're not here to gatekeep. We're here to give game as much as possible. So we're talking about finding and retaining clientele as a videographer, as a photographer, or anyone just in the creative space. All right. So obviously these things wouldn't necessarily apply to certain people who may be wanting to get into the full-blown film industry. So if you want to do more filmmaking type work or work for a major network or anything like that, and some of these things may apply, but most of them mainly apply to people on the entrepreneur level, like myself, anyone who may be a solopreneur, just in general, who is looking to break out into the videography, photography space, or anyone really. A lot of these things just apply to being a good entrepreneur in general. So you may not even be a creative, but I hope you can still get some value from this episode nonetheless. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So first things first, effective marketing. You gotta know how to market yourself. You gotta know the best platforms, the best times to post, the best SEO for you to be easily searched anywhere and everywhere on the internet, right? So marketing could be a great way to bring people in organically, where they just be shooting great content or just providing great work for people that you can post. You can run ads. That's good marketing as well. If you want to do a whole commercial, you can do that too. Or just doing simple videos, just explaining some of your services and some of your experience to make you more knowledgeable in the space. Anything that you post as an entrepreneur, one way or another, is considered marketing. All right. Even if you do something on a personal level, you're still marketing yourself if you're still posting it on your business page. All right. So you just want to keep that in mind as much as possible. You want to make sure that even the things that you do that are outside of working in your business align with your brand. And if not, try not to post it on the same platforms as your business page, right? So you don't want to do too many things outside of your brand, because then you dilute the brand and then it makes it harder for you to market yourself, essentially. But yeah, you can run ads. We use a CRM, so you can use a Go High Level or things of that nature. Make it a lot easier to streamline running ads or just doing marketing, even doing blog posts. You create your own blog where you can post a lot of your work there as well. That'll be a great way to market yourself. Getting an email list, that's another great opportunity to just gain and retain people just based on emails. There's still a lot of people, listen, there's a lot of people on social media. There's a lot more people who have emails. All right, everyone who has a social media account has an email address. And there's so many more people with email addresses, they don't ever use social media. So that's a great opportunity for you to just market yourself in simple ways of just like being able to promote your business, right? Even paying for ads, like ad placements on like Facebook and things of that nature. Just running ads, that's one way to do it. Depending on what type of services you're trying to offer, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, especially if you're just starting out, that you try to run Facebook ads or anything like that. It'll probably be better or easier for you to try and do more organic or guerrilla style marketing. Like I said, posting good content, maybe reaching out to people directly, things of that nature, right? So one of the things that I've done to get clientele is just simply reaching out to them via social media, just going on different pages, kind of scanning through them and just kind of doing some engagement to the page to make sure that they know I'm not a robot or anything like that. And just kind of like shooting them a message, a DM, just to reach out to them and essentially let them know like, hey, we here to, help you, or just kind of have an organic conversation to see if there's any potential of us working together, essentially. All right, that's one way to do it. You can do the same thing with emails, do cold emails, cold calling even, where you just reach out to people directly and be like, hey, I have this service. I do videography, I do photography in the same niche that your business may need. Or you may do the same thing for if you're doing weddings, right? You see someone has a proposal coming up. You'd be like, hey, I see that you just popped the question. Congratulations on the new endeavor, the new relationship being grown. Do you need a photographer for your wedding? Have you considered videography packages for your wedding? This is an option, you know what I mean? So there's so many different things that you can use and so many opportunities that you can make just simply reaching out to people directly. I know some people will tell you that doing cold outreaches is not necessarily a best bet for you, but it's somewhere to start, you know? So essentially, if you don't have the money to pay for ads, reaching out to people, whether you feel like it's a cold lead, a warm lead, a hot lead, just being able to continuously reach out to people is probably one of the best ways that you can market yourself, market your business, market your services without necessarily having to break the bank on having to run ads consistently. Some of the other things that you can do also is just make sure that you follow up with people. One of the crucial things in terms of building up a good clientele base is knowing the art of the follow-up. People are not going to respond to that first message. They're not going to respond to that first email. They're not going to respond to that first call. Well, that does not mean give up on them, all right? They may be busy. They may not have saw it. They may have saw it and didn't respond. There's a variety of things that could have happened in that scenario, right? So having patience, having grace with people, and knowing to relentlessly follow up with them is also crucial. I follow up until I get blocked, all right? Wherever I started talking to you at, I'm gonna keep hitting you up until you block me, okay? All right, that's just what I do. Now, obviously, again, you don't wanna get blocked and you don't wanna come off as spam, but you always wanna make sure that even if the message gets lost through time, that you're always on the top of their minds. And that rhymed. Hey, look at that. So you want to just make sure that you're doing the best you can to follow up with people. Like I said, if you do have a good conversation with someone, you want to make sure you follow up with them again. If you don't necessarily close a client immediately, you want to make sure that you have a conversation with them that leads to another conversation. It's like if I get on a call with someone and we didn't necessarily come to an agreement, the first thing I want to do is, okay, let's book another time to talk again. Right? You want to make sure that you constantly stay on their calendar so that you constantly stay on the top of their minds until they definitively say no or definitively block you. Anything other than that is up in the air. So following up is one of the best ways to, even after you start a conversation, to maintain the conversation after the fact, essentially. So that's one of the major things. Definitely using just different platforms to market yourself. Like I said, you can reach out to people directly via social media, or you can find different email addresses for companies and reach out to them directly via phone or email. Even sometimes if they have a brick and mortar, you may even want to just show up and just go full on guerrilla marketing. You know, I've done that before as well. Just walking into businesses and say, hey, I can do this type of service for you to market your business. I can give you some videography, some photos, whatever you may need. You may have to offer a free service if you do something like that, specifically if you are starting up. So if you do walk into a building, be prepared to offer something for free. All right. Now, when you're calling and emailing and DMing or doing whatever, anything else, then it may be one thing. You may offer maybe a discounted rate for that first initial buy that a person may do with you. But when I walk into a brick and mortar, in my mind, I'm gonna automatically say, okay, bet I'm probably gonna have to offer something free, at least for the first time of working with them. So I would say, hey, I'll come in and shoot you for like 30 minutes and give you X, Y, and Z deliverables. You know, it only took 30 minutes of your time to do it. I would probably make the deliverables so simple that editing is practically non-existent. And you just give them something for essentially a proof of concept. And then you lead that into like, hey, can I get your contact information so that we can go ahead, book a call and talk more about how we can work together in the future. You know, so just some real game on just how you can do certain things. SEO is super heavy, you know, on YouTube. So be very mindful on how you're tagging all your content across all platforms. If you're using hashtags on Instagram, TikTok, be very mindful. On TikTok, I know you can use, For You page or any variation of that as a hashtag to get more people to view your content on TikTok. If you are on YouTube, you can add specific tags to make sure that when people are searching for these tags, your video pops up. Even if you're doing YouTube shorts, what they do nowadays, they also have hashtags in the titles of the YouTube shorts that can also help you get recognized. And that recognition could lead to more business for you as well. The whole thing is you don't want to come off as spammy, especially if you're doing this all by yourself. Once you get to a point where you have a team of people who are dedicated to just doing outreaches left, right, and sideways, or you've already automated your business in such a way that you've already don't necessarily need to reach out to people directly, then that's different. But if you're starting out and you just don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, you don't know who to talk to, you want to make sure you're retaining quality contacts and you want to make sure you're having good conversations with people by any means that you may do that, right? Like I said, it could be an email, it could be a DM, it could be a phone call, it could be a great conversation in person. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have great conversations with people as much as possible, no matter what outlet you may be having a conversation. And essentially, you want to make sure that you're building a strong clientele base. You want to make sure you're properly charging enough to sustain your business. That is a crucial thing. One of the crucial things in just running any type of entrepreneur journey is knowing what to charge for what services that you provide, right? You don't want to charge too low and make no money. And if you charge too high, then be willing to accept that not as many people will be willing to spend money with you. I'm not going to tell you how much you should charge. That's totally dictated on you, which you feel comfortable charging for whatever services that you provide. I personally just want to make sure that I say that whatever you are charging, make sure that that person feels like they got more than enough value from what you charge. So you got to find the fine line between charging enough to give plenty of value to the customer, but also minimizing how much real effort that you got to do, right? Sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you will, if not half the time, if not most of the time, you probably are going to have to do a lot of work. That's just the name of the game. Hard work is entrepreneurship. Sometimes when you work in a 9-to-5, you can coast for like an hour, 2 hours and still get paid. That only happens in entrepreneurship if you're lucky. So you want to make sure you're giving the best quality service possible. Like I said, you can minimize it just by automating certain things. That'll probably be the easiest thing to do and still get the full quality of what you're getting to your customers. But ideally, you want to make sure that the customer is getting nothing but value. And even for me personally, I overachieve in value to the point where sometimes people will expect that value out of me just because I overachieved. But also it's super crucial to have some type of level of invoicing in place, because when you invoice people, you want to make sure that they have a detailed list of everything that you are supposed to provide. So that way, if you do overachieve, it is recognized. All right. Don't just take payments and then they don't know what they're paying for. You want to make sure that people visibly see what it is that their money is going towards. So you can use Stripe. You use Honeybook. That's what we use as well. I'm sure there's plenty of other invoicing services, PayPal even. You can type up an invoice. I could do a Google Doc. Personally, I wouldn't take anyone's information, but for the sake of making sure that they know what they're getting for their value of the dollar, I would say at least have something written down to show what it is you're providing them. And then however you take forms of payment, make sure you have that set up in place as well. Just to kind of briefly talk about that, essentially you want to make sure that you are giving some type of payment information that doesn't seem fraudulent. So I would try my best not to take Cash App. Zelle gets kind of shaky sometimes too, which is why I say if you have some type of invoicing platform that you can use, that'd probably be the best and safest way to keep you and the customer protected and feel comfortable with the transaction. But listen, man, I get it. I get it. Sometimes I'd still take Zelle. Sometimes I take Cash App. I take Cash App on the most extreme circumstances though. I had somebody try to Cash App me thousands of dollars. I was like, hey, yo, I got to invoice you. I ain't even trying to go through that. So on rare circumstances, I want to make sure that if I can get the money, I'll get it. So I'll get a Cash App if that's what we got to do. I spoke on a previous episode about a client didn't want to use invoicing and preferred to Cash App me and then pay me half of the money in cash. That was a weird situation. Cash, are we drug dealing? I know they call me a Chapo, but are we drug dealing? Because if you are, take the cash. Look, if you're doing anything where you feel like you need to take the cash, take the cash. I'm not saying don't take the cash, but you want to be seen as a professional. You want to find professional outlets to not only reach out to people, you want to speak to people both professionally and know how to be casual with them and have good engaging conversations with them. And you also want to be able to professionally take their money, because you want to also, worst case scenario, you may have to professionally have to give them a refund. Refunds get real shaky when it's Cash App. But nevertheless, so retaining, finding clients, those are some of the great ways that you can do it. Building a good client base is mainly just building good relationships. I'm gonna say that one more time. Building a good client base is strictly based on building great relationships. Some of the best clients that you can ever have are the ones that you build great relationships with. The people that you communicate with constantly, the people that you show empathy for, whether their circumstances change or not, and people that you over deliver when it comes to deliverables. People that show they're loyal to you and you show your loyalty to them, vice versa. Those are the best clients to have. And that's the easiest way to retain a client. Build a great relationship with them. Because we're not perfect. Nobody on this earth is perfect. Neither you nor your client will ever be perfect. So you want to make sure that you're doing what you can to relate to that person, to be there for them, and do the best job possible. So not only retaining the client through good relationship with the client, but also retaining them through excellent service. Don't give them no BS service. Don't give them no BS product. Don't charge 10 grand for an iPhone photo. I'm like, hey, going back to my example before, like, hey, do you have anybody to do your wedding? I'll come through and shoot the whole thing, $1,500. And I'll come through with the iPhone, just iPhoned up, $1,500 to do something anybody who went to the wedding could have did for free. That's not giving a quality service at that point. You pay me to do a wedding. Listen, I'm pulling up with the gear I ain't even gonna use. I just want you to see me. You look like I'm using it. I'm the gimbal, whatever, flashing. We got lights. We got the drone up here. You look at the video, you ain't see not one clip of a drone, but you saw the drone when it was flying. You heard it. You heard it though. It might be half a clip of a drone happening in the whole video. 2.3 seconds of a drone in the actual finished product. But you know that we're going above and beyond when we pull out the drones, when we pull out the gimbals. You see more than one camera angle. You know we pulling out all the stops, making sure we got the good audio, making sure we're communicating with you whatever it is that you need. I always make sure at the end of every shoot that I ask every client, is there anything else you need from me before I leave? Little stuff like that. Build a good relationship with them and quality service. And they actually know that you're leaving. Some videographers, I don't want to name names. Some of them they just leave. Like, oh, time's up, gone. Yeah, I call them up, be like, oh, so you left? Oh, okay, I didn't know you had left. This ain't 9 to 5. You don't just clock out and leave. Like, you let somebody know. That's just a common courtesy. That's good customer service. Providing good customer service, all right? Some of the best entrepreneurship skills you can learn in a 9 to 5 come from customer service. If you know the art of providing good customer service, then retaining clients becomes that much easier. Having good relationships with clients becomes that much easier. I worked at Coca-Cola for 4 years. I literally worked in a ticket booth of the museum. Shout out to the World of Coke if you're in downtown Atlanta. I worked in the ticket booths. I worked in the admission side for 4 years of my life. Literally had to fake smile every day for 4 years. Their whole thing is going above and beyond. That's their whole brand. Coca-Cola's whole brand is happiness. Taste the feeling. No Diddy. Okay, because that's a crazy brand slogan. But for Coca-Cola, it works for them. It works. So when you work for them, especially in a customer-facing role, You got to be on that all the time. You got to be able to talk to people. You got to be able to relate to people. So a lot of the skills that I got from working that job translated so well into my business because I already done it for years. Some people may not have had that experience. Some people may be introverted. Like, I'm introverted as well. I just know how to turn it on and off because I've been doing it for so long. But it's like you can still relate to people. You can still have conversations with people. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to do that anyway. Unless you have a faceless business, which in videography, photography hasn't happened yet because our AI overlords hasn't taken all the way over. Any other type of business, maybe. But what we do, not yet. So you have to be there for people and you have to talk to people. Some level of personality. So just be very mindful of those types of things. And those are some of the great ways that you can retain the clientele. You know, just giving excellent service, being a great communicator, being very personable, building a strong, solid relationship. Relationships will keep you in business longer than any other marketing scheme. You don't need everybody to pay for the business. You don't need everybody to be your customer. You just need a handful of quality people who can afford the services, who appreciate and respect your time and efforts, and who you can build a great relationship with in the future. Those are the best clients to ever have in your life. Shout out to all my wonderful clients. All the people I've ever worked with, shout out to everybody. Everyone that I have a great relationship with, thank you so much. And a lot of those skills translate outside of business too. Even on the personal side, it's so much better to build relationships. Be there for your people. So these are just some of the ways to retain clientele. You know, we kind of dive deep into a little bit of everything. I'm not too sure how you may be picking up clients nowadays more than anything. For me, I have been doing a lot of work with people I worked with previously, and I have gotten to a point now where we kind of just slowed up on the ads and just been focusing on just building great relationships with people in real time. So, you know, everything that I told you to do in this video, I have done in the past. And they all work, but they all take a lot of work. Even building good relationships. Everything works, but it takes a lot of work. When I was DMing people for clients, I was DMing hundreds of people to get one client that paid one time. Hundreds of people. Out of every 100 people, you'll be lucky to get 5 people who booked a call. And out of the 5 people who booked a call, you'll be super lucky to get one of them that will actually pay. And that was like 2 years ago. 2024 is a whole different economy, whether we realize it or not. Not trying to get political, but the current presidential situation is making it harder for people of color to thrive in certain areas in business, in certain areas in the economy, just in general. So just imagine how much harder it would be to do that. But it is possible. Retaining people's email addresses, emailing them consistently, being on the top of their email list, email chains, giving out discounts via email. I've done that too. Starting a blog, I did that too. Did I get clients from any of those things? Actually, yeah, I did. Did it take a lot of time and effort and work? It did. So I'm not telling you any of these services or any of these ways to make money in business or retain clientele in business are easy, but they're possible. And that's the thing. Anything is possible. You'll be surprised. And like I said, I've been so gracious to have great relationships. A lot of my work, really the last year or so, has been just built off the strength of my relationships with people. My relationships kept me in business. So that's one thing. No matter what you're doing to market yourself, just build good relationships. And that will definitely be the key to keeping you in business long term. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, finding and retaining clients, that was the topic for today. We essentially broke down a little bit of anything and everything. You know, if you have any questions about that, you know, you can reach out directly or you can comment below on this video any questions you may have with what is some of your ways that you get clients. What are you thinking about doing to get clients? Let us know in the comments below. We are going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to start our trivia section for the day. Make sure you stick around for a chance to win a cash prize, but not after a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Chop House Media Group. Now listen, podcasting is hard, all right? There's a lot of moving parts to a successful podcast, whether it be the shooting side, the post-production side, the audio mixing and mastering, just having the right strategy and know how to even get this podcast in the right places and getting it into the right positions to get monetized. And that is where Chop House Media Group helps out at. We have coined the phrase, the podcast in the box, where we pretty much facilitate anything and everything that you need to run a successful podcast, between the production, the post-production, the strategy, and the tips and tricks that you need to be 1,000% successful in every single aspect of your podcasting career. Now, if you are interested in being a part of this and making sure that you get your podcast to the next level, whether you are just now starting out your podcast or you are already in the podcasting field but want to take it to another level, be sure to hit the link below and schedule your free consultation with us to make sure that we get your podcast up and going further than you can ever imagine. All right, again, thank you to Chop House Media Group for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the show. And we're back. All right, so here we are to the trivia phase of the episode where my producer Javane, say what's up, Javane.
What's up?
We are going to get some trivia. He's going to ask me some questions. And essentially, if I get the questions right, I get to keep my cash prize for the week. If I get them wrong, I got to give the cash prize to you. Yes, you, the viewer on YouTube. So if you haven't done already, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, be sure to like this video and comment below your favorite moment, and we will randomly select you to win the cash prize if I get the questions wrong. I want to make sure I emphasize that part specifically. So we don't give out cash prizes every episode, only the ones where I get the questions wrong.
Majority
wrong. Yeah. So
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Yeah.
It's been shaky on one side or the other in some of these episodes, but listen, got to get the questions wrong. 2 out of 3. So I'm closing my laptop to make sure nobody thinks I'm cheating. I don't have the questions even if I did, but you know, let's go ahead and make it happen.
All right, let's get into it. So, you know, thankful to our AI overlord ChatGPT for providing these questions for us today. Nice. Let me know when you're ready.
Let's get it.
All right. So number 1 is, what is an effective way to stand out in a saturated creative industry? Your options are A, copying the work of popular creators, B, offering a unique style or service that sets you apart, C, charging the lowest price possible, or D, posting once every few months on social media.
B.
Offering a unique style or service that sets you apart. That is your final answer.
Final answer, yes.
You seem really confident with that one.
That's all I know.
That's all you know.
That's all we all can do.
All right. I am sorry to say to the viewers that is actually correct.
There you go. I was about to say it. Had us in the first half, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, definitely. You want to stand out, man. You definitely want to make sure that you're setting yourself apart as much as possible, making sure that people recognize that your brand is unique to you. What you can offer is unique to you. You know, there's plenty of people who do videography, photography, creative services in general for money. But again, set yourself apart by being unique to you. And whatever that looks like. Don't copy anybody's style. Don't ride any waves. Be unique to yourself. People will rock with you. And also, don't forget, building good relationships. So,
True. All right, number 2. Why is setting clear expectations with clients important? A, it prevents misunderstandings and ensures smooth collaboration. B, it makes the project take longer. C, it reduces the need for contracts. Or D, it helps you avoid communicating with clients.
A.
A.
If I'm gonna answer.
A?
Yes.
good news for the viewers of this video, because that is correct. So that means now
Okay.
they don't have to care about the third question. But they should probably
they should still, all right,
they
keep
should
watching.
still, yeah,
Definitely
skip-
keep listening.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Don't go nowhere yet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely, you should always have some type of paperwork in place when you're doing business.
Yeah.
Just with anybody in any business field, I don't want to speak too much on, partnerships and things of that nature. I think I spoke on that before. But paperwork, do
need
your
that.
paperwork, do your due diligence, always be an active communicator, always stress active communication on the other side as well. You always want to be kept in the loop, or at least me anyway. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. And moving on to the third and final question. How can you turn a one-time client into a long-term client? A, offering personalized services and maintaining regular contact. B, only reaching out when they ask for another project. C, sending a generic thank you message and never following up. Or D, charging them more each time they return.
D. No, I'm playing. A. It's A. The answer is A. It's A. It's A.
I wish that D would be crazy though.
I think D would be crazy. First of all, that just sounds crazy.
That sounds
Pause,
crazy. No,
did
Diddy. Yeah.
But that would be crazy only if the service was the same. So obviously,
Yes.
I think that if you are being asked to do more work than previously, you're gonna have to quote them more.
Right.
And even, I don't want to get economical again, but sometimes just depending on what the market is looking like, you just got to charge more just for the sake of being able to maintain the business, depending on where the economy is at that time. So I've had that happen to me where I had to charge essentially more money to do the same service for someone, and I did not retain them as a client. We actually got into a whole debacle. They were actually related to the guy who was giving me death threats. If you hadn't watched that podcast episode, I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, it just didn't end well across the board. So you definitely want to make sure you're charging accordingly. I would say whatever you charge enough so that if you need to charge them in the future for the same service, the price doesn't go up significantly. So make sure you turn a profit, basically. But yeah, the answer is A. Final answer.
Final answer correct. 3 for 3.
Three ski.
Yes, sir. Shooting 100% from the
Yep.
trivia question line.
Curry from the 3.
Yes, sir.
3. But
All right.
yeah,
That's all I got for you.
tough break, people.
Try again next week.
Try again next week,
Or
definitely. Every
next
week is a
episode.
chance.
Yeah.
Every week is a chance to win a cash prize if you hadn't known this. Also, previous weeks are also chances to win cash prizes as well. All right. If there's episodes where people haven't been selected because there may be some episodes where people didn't comment. If you didn't
And-
comment, how do we know to give it to you?
Right. Because
So-
I've been trying to give y'all a chance. I really could just go watch those episodes. and
Javane
comment.
could have easily got on every episode and won every cash prize, and they've been over with by now. So
Yeah.
if you hadn't, just go back to the previous episodes and see if you can win a prize there, or just go on and wait till next week, and maybe that'll be a chance for you too. Every chance is a new chance. So
Yeah. Yeah.
every chance is a new chance.
Every chance is a new chance.
Not every prolific thing is detailed. What's understood ain't got to be said. Wax on, wax off.
Okay, Mr. Miyagi.
Chapo Miyagi.
Chapo
Yeah.
Miyagi's great.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it for us. Did you enjoy this episode? Let us know in the comments below.
Of course they did.
We definitely had to enjoy it. Also be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check us out on audio platforms as well. Anywhere you get your podcast at, we'll be there. Also enjoy the clips on social media. Follow us on social media as well. Chop Logic Podcast. And that's it. So I'm Tevin El Chapo. Friends call me Chop. I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Peace.